And here is America right now. The Democrats' more outspoken leaders, Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez, leading a Nevada rally today dubbed Fighting the Oligarchy, pushing a more aggressive approach to the other side of America. You also see on your screen President Trump promoting an executive action rather than working with Congress on passing actual legislation or long-term policy. He claims that what you see him signing there will start a process to close the Education Department. We have more on that coming up. But the rally, as you can see in the line here, drew over 50,000 RSVPs, the Democratic rally, per organizers. Here's more of that line.
We're all here together because we share in the frustration and the heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. And we are here together because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before. But we are also here today because we know that a better world is possible.
This country faces enormous crises, and how we respond to these crises today will impact not only our lives, but the lives of our kids, future generations, and in terms of climate change, the very well-being of the planet.
We are witnessing an oligarchy in America. And that is when those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves while millions of Americans pay the price.
Today, we are here to say very loudly and clearly, no, we will not accept an oligarchic form of society where a handful of billionaires run the government. No, we will not accept an authoritarian form of society with a president who undermines the Constitution every day,
lying to and screwing over working people so that they can steal from our health care and Social Security and veterans care to pay for tax cuts for the wealthiest and bailouts for their crypto billionaire friends. There's a word for this: corruption.
No, we will not accept a society of massive economic inequalities where the very rich are becoming much richer while working families across the country struggle to put food on the table.
This isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. Community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out the corruption in the White House.
Let's do something really radical. You ready? Let's tell the truth.
Tell the truth. That is some of what we heard today, and you can see at the rather large gathering, there was enthusiasm even amidst what has been a depressing period for many on the Democratic left and the opposition party. These are leaders associated with the more progressive wing. That's one dimension, but they also, separate from, say, ideology or how to regulate capitalism, these are two leaders who want to confront Trump in a way that's more assertive than many other figures like Senators Schumer or Durbin.
We are living in a dangerous and unprecedented moment in American history.
I don't think we're witnessing the start of an oligarchy. I think we are fully here.
These billionaires are not looking out for us. They are grinding us to a pulp, and they are eating us for breakfast.
If you are a fan of Donald Trump and you
like to punish yourself by watching my live streams, welcome. I'm still fighting for your health care anyway.
We've got to be smart, we've got to be organized, and we've got to fight back. This is not a time for wallowing in despair and hiding under the covers. The stakes are just too high.
The stakes are high, and we are showing you there how both of those two individuals who are separated by many decades in age have been doing something that Trump and MAGA leaders have used in communications technology, which is part of how we live politics today. They're using those online tools to speak directly. Sanders there citing a more upbeat, energetic approach. And then there are sneakers. Donald Trump has tapped into all kinds of trends, sometimes nonsensically, but Democrats like AOC and Sanders are increasingly aware that you still have to find ways to connect with people's passions, even show that you can have some fun, that's part of what I just showed you online today and cultural politics today. And the sneakers are in the news. Bernie Sanders has actually led on that authentically with his own style and campaigning, the online communication, and then out in the real world, what you see here is Sanders pulling up, as they say, to a sneaker drop in Vermont, a gathering that brings people together well beyond politics. It's more popular among many young people. And Sanders was game, but also you'll notice he was himself, marveling at the high cost of some sneakers.
Tell me, what is the story with these sneakers? They're nice sneakers, but they're more than I would pay. How much these things cost?
$225 for sneakers? Now, this, by the way, is when real Bernie almost melts into the Larry David Bernie parody, so memorably done on Saturday Night Live. They're nice, but it's more than I would pay. We hear you, Bernie. And Bernie is in the news because he is out there fighting the fight, teaming up with AOC, trying online tools, going to sneaker drops, while also making the serious arguments for universal health care and against capitalist insurance companies and against a lot of Trump and Musk's attempt to break down the federal government as we know it. Democrats are clearly seeking a strong and authentic way to confront the Trump agenda in this sequel that looks at times so much more extreme than the first term. And then we see the headlines about who is going to lead the Democratic Party while its approval sinks to a 30-year low. Well, this rally is just one thing, but it is one thing more than sitting around D.C. doing the same old debates or using the same old communications tools or only going out into the field close to the elections, which is something that Howard Dean and others have mentioned on this broadcast and other places that the Democrats have struggled with historically. Meanwhile, some Republicans don't want to be out in the field answering for the Trump-Musk agenda. I mentioned Trump is attacking the education department. He has this executive order. I'll just remind you, although that's in the news, only Congress may legally abolish that agency. And if Trump got any further with what looked mostly like a PR effort, well, it's not like Republicans want to sell that in the next election. By huge margins, 2 in 3 Americans just oppose eliminating the education department. And out in the field, as I mentioned, that's kind of the theme here today, Republicans are getting an earful from voters in red districts opposing a lot of the Trump-Musk agenda.
Social Security. The work that I have specifically been doing, I am on the judiciary. It's so bizarre to me how obsessed you are with federal government. But here's the thing.
That's some of the back and forth. And you can see in a kind of a less, perhaps, aggressive manner the Republican trolling that passes for argument these days. Telling citizens, your constituents, that they seem, quote, obsessed with the federal government, like it's some sort of Twitter or X fight where you can dunk on them, isn't a good explanation of just how large or small you want the federal government to be and whether people still want Social Security checks on time or an education department, as I just showed you, that most people in places red and blue think has a role to play. And that's just when Republicans are there. That's when the officials actually go out in the field. When they don't, Well, voters are trying to draw attention to that. Here's a Colorado activist showing a kind of a cardboard cutout of a very conservative Congresswoman, Lauren, who hasn't held town halls, so she hasn't been held accountable in that way. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is trumping, saying America has become something of a, quote, fat, dumb, foolish country in a Fox interview, a kind of rhetoric that is striking because it doesn't seem very appealing. It violates many laws of politics, but here we are. So you take it all together today, and you can see that what the politicians are trying to do in Washington is only one part of the story. Because out in the country they're supposed to represent, out in the districts they're supposed to represent, there is a broad and diverse set of views. It does not mean the Democratic Party is a popular alternative right now. It's actually, as I showed you, crashing. Just like the stocks under Donald Trump's leadership and a lot of the approval of Donald Trump, his economic agenda, his plans to shutter the education department. We had an election, but it doesn't seem to have resolved the deeper questions about what it means for working people in this environment with all of these wealthy people and all of the tariffs and all of the market gyrations and the talk of cutting the federal government and maybe going after Social Security, as Elon Musk has promised, all of that affecting real people's lives. The anger is actually building. So we're going to bring in Sherrod Brown, longtime populist senator, and Reverend Al Sharpton for where we go from here.